There's something unusual about the Bentley Continental GT Convertible. Not in the way it looks, not even in the way it sounds, but in the way it makes everything else feel unnecessary. Because in 2025, cars are trying harder than ever. More screens, more software, more artificial intelligence between you and the road. But Bentley did something completely different. They removed the urgency, they removed the noise, and what's left feels almost dangerous in a quiet way. Before we go deeper into this, don't skip ahead, because later in the video, we're getting into why this car might be one of the last of its kind and why that changes everything about how you should see it. And real quick, if you're into cars like this, cars that aren't just about speed but about presence, experience, and identity, make sure to subscribe and check the links in the description. Because we've put together some of the best deals, tools, and car-related products that actually make your driving experience better. From accessories to things you didn't even know you needed until now. If you're serious about cars, you'll want to see that. At first glance, the Continental GT Convertible feels predictable. Luxury, money, status. You've seen this story before, or at least you think you have. But spend a little more time with it, and something starts to feel different, because this car doesn't try to impress you immediately. It doesn't scream for attention, it waits, and that's where the power is. The design is smooth, controlled, almost restrained. No unnecessary aggression, no exaggerated lines, just confidence, the kind of confidence that doesn't need validation. And in a world where every car is trying to be louder than the next, that silence becomes its biggest statement. But that's just the surface, because under that long, sculpted hood, Bentley made a decision that almost feels rebellious. They kept the W12, a massive, complicated, powerful engine, in a time where everyone else is moving in the opposite direction. Smaller engines, hybrid systems, electric everything. And yet Bentley said, not yet. The W12 doesn't behave like modern engines. It doesn't feel urgent. It doesn't feel aggressive. It feels inevitable. You press the throttle, and instead of exploding forward, the car builds momentum like a wave. Smooth, endless, effortless. It doesn't ask for attention. It assumes it already has it. But here's where things start to shift, because this engine isn't staying, not for long. Bentley has already started moving toward a different future. Hybrid systems, fully electric platforms, a new identity. And quietly, without making too much noise, they're preparing to leave this era behind, which means this car is living on borrowed time. And suddenly, everything about it feels different. The sound of the engine, the way the car moves, even the way it idles at a stoplight, feels like something you're not supposed to experience anymore. But that's not even the most interesting part, because when you actually drive it, the entire idea of what this car should be falls apart. You expect weight, distance, disconnection, but instead you get something else entirely. Control, precision, calm confidence. The Continental GT Convertible doesn't rush you, it doesn't push you, it pulls you into its rhythm. And once you're there, everything slows down. Not the car, your mind. You stop thinking about speed. You start noticing everything else. The road texture, the air moving around you, the subtle shifts in balance as the car glides through corners. This isn't performance in the traditional sense. This is something else. Something most cars forgot how to deliver. And it gets even more intense when the roof comes down, because this is where the car transforms. The world opens up, but not in a chaotic way. In a controlled, cinematic way. The wind doesn't hit you aggressively. It wraps around you. The sound of the engine doesn't scream. It echoes, softly, but with authority. The sunlight reflects off the interior surfaces, and suddenly, you're not just driving. You're inside a moment. And that moment feels expensive, not because of the price, but because of how rare it is. And that's exactly where we go next. Step inside, and everything becomes even clearer. This isn't just an interior, it's intention. Every surface, every material, every detail feels like it was placed there for a reason. The leather isn't just soft, it feels crafted. The metal isn't decorative. It feels real, cold to the touch, precise, deliberate. And then there are the small things, the details most people miss. The way the controls move, the way the stitching lines flow across the seats, the rotating display quietly flipping between technology and tradition. It's not trying to impress you with complexity. It's showing you mastery through simplicity. And that's where Bentley separates itself. But even here, there's something deeper happening. Because Bentley could have turned this into a digital machine. More screens, more automation, more features. But they didn't. They stopped right before it became too much. And that restraint is what makes this car feel human. You're not interacting with software. You're interacting with something mechanical, something responsive, something that still listens. And in 2025, that's rare. But that kind of experience comes with a reality most people ignore. Because owning this car isn't just about buying it. The price, that's the easy part. The real story begins after maintenance, depreciation, customization that can quickly spiral into numbers most people don't even want to think about. And yet, none of that seems to matter, because people who buy this car aren't thinking about logic. They're thinking about feeling, presence, identity. And once you understand that, everything clicks. Which brings us to the real question. Who is this actually for? Not someone chasing speed, not someone comparing specs, not someone looking for practicality. This car is for someone who already knows what they want, someone who values silence over noise, confidence over attention, experience over explanation. It's not about proving anything, it's about knowing. And that's something very few cars can deliver. Because in the end, the Bentley Continental GT Convertible isn't trying to win. It's not trying to dominate. It's not trying to be the fastest or the most advanced or the most talked about. It's doing something much more difficult. It's staying true to itself in a world that keeps changing. And maybe that's why it feels so different. Because while everything else is moving forward as fast as possible, this car is choosing its moments. And if this really is the final chapter for engines like this, then Bentley didn't just build a car. They created a memory before it disappears. Before you click away, take a second. Because if this kind of content speaks to you, if you enjoy discovering cars that aren't just about numbers, but about emotion, design, and real driving experience, you're going to want to stay connected. Hit that subscribe button, and seriously, check the links in the description. We've added some carefully selected products, gear, and tools that car enthusiasts actually use, not random stuff. Things that improve your driving experience, your setup, your lifestyle around cars. From small upgrades that make a big difference to things that bring you closer to this kind of feeling, it's all there. And every time you check them out, you're also supporting the channel directly, which means more videos like this, more hidden stories, more cars that most people don't understand. And trust me, the next ones we're working on go even deeper. Stay curious, because this world has a lot more to reveal.